How's it going, Diablo fans? So lately I encountered there's a lot of confusion on the general topic how dot damage works together with Lucky Hit, and especially with the ring X'Fals Corroded Signet. So since we got this nice little training dummies here right now, I thought I just put it to the test and make a little proof video so you can all see how dot stacking and Lucky Hit actually works, if dots are stacking or not, if the Lucky Hit is stacking or not, yada yada yada. So in this video I will just answer all the specific questions one by one, and you can jump to the specific question if you're interested, or you can just go through the entire video. It's not going to be very long, I promise. Oh, and just in case you don't know what DoT stands for, DoT means damage over time. So whenever I say DoT, that actually means a skill dealing damage over time. Alright, question number one, how is Lucky Hit chance calculated for damage over time effects? So first of all, we take the Lucky Hit chance of the Firewall here, which is 49%, and then we increase it by our Lucky Hit chance. So if we get to stats and materials and then scroll down to the very bottom, we find the Lucky Hit chance bonus here, that is 62.1% in my case. So we take the 49% times 1.62, and that is roughly 79.4. So 79.4 is our base Lucky Hit chance here. Then we go back to our Firewall and we say it lasts 8 seconds. So we have to divide the base Lucky Hit chance by the total duration of 8 seconds. That basically means if we take 79.4 divided by 8, that makes roughly 10%. So, easily said, Firewall has a 10% chance to proc Lucky Hit every second. So, calculating that, probably like about every 1.2 Firewalls will statistically proc a single Lucky Hit. Okay, second question. Does X'Fals proc damage depend on the dot damage? The answer is no. Let's see here, we have a tick damage of like 4k, and there's the proc for like 250k non-crit. And now let's stack Firewalls. Now we have like 12k, and the proc will be the same. So the proc is a flat value increased by all your damage modificators, and it does not depend on the dot's stacking value here. Question 3. Can every DoT including enchantments such as Sorcs Firebolt Enchantments trigger Lucky Hit effects? The answer is yes. So let's just look at the footage here. I have Chain Lightning with the Firebolt Enchantment in this case. So this applies a fire dot, and I'm hitting this training dummy, and there you can see the proc. So it can absolutely proc of Firebolt Enchantment. It can also proc of Hydra's burning damage, and I assume it will proc on any secondary dot effects available. Question 4. Does stacking multiple dots increase the number of Lucky Hit procs? So this is the most important question pretty much, because there's a lot of misunderstanding here. Because dots only display a damage number twice a second, no matter how many dots, how many different dots or whatever, the numbers just get added together and displayed twice a second. There seems to be the understanding that the dots pretty much just add their damage together, but still count as one ability, and they will not stack Lucky Hit whatsoever. This assumption is simply wrong. Yes, the dots have one unified damage number, but internally they get handled as individual skills. So if you stack 5 Firewalls, that is going to be handled as 5 individual dots, which each having a Lucky Hit chance. The same goes for different dots of skills, and the same even goes for the Sorceress Firebolt Enchantment. So if you watch the footage in the background closely, it's playing at double speed. You notice there was around 4 or 5 procs of the X'Fals so far. And what I'm doing is here, I'm shooting the training dummy with Spark and applying a Firebolt Enchantment every about 5 seconds. So I pretty much keep one dot active all the time. And you can see there was like 4 or 5 procs total. So let's speed it up a little bit here, and after that we're gonna look at the same scenario, but me hitting it with Spark like a madman instead. So this means that stacking multiple dots will definitely trigger Lucky Hit effects. And that does not only work for X'Fals, that pretty much works for all Lucky Hit effects. So if you're playing a high attack speed Sorceress, for example, like Ball Lightning or something like that, definitely try to add in the Firebolt Enchantment and the X'Fals, because this will trigger a lot of Lucky Hit effects by just the secondary application of a massive number of Firebolt enchantment dots. I'm going to put some additional proof here where we just count like single blizzard versus multiple blizzard. You can look through it if you want, but you can also skip ahead to the conclusion if you already bought my arguments here. If you didn't buy it yet, just watch the following proof videos and then you will definitely be convinced that multiple dots will stack all kinds of on-hit effects. So there you can see single blizzard did around 15 procs in 3 minutes, and now let's switch to stacking blizzards and you will see this will do more than double the amount of procs. And if you still don't believe me, there has also some people saying that the mob has to have a dot on it and then any skill can trigger the lucky hit effect of X'Fals. This is also completely wrong. So only the dot damage can trigger it. For that I have added this first video here where we just put a firewall every like 10 seconds, but we hit it with Spark without Firebolt enchantment like a madman. So as you can see, there is no significant procs. I believe the entire 3 minutes have like 5 or 6 procs in total, and after that I'm going to show you stacking firewalls on its own, and there you will see like at least 40 or 50 procs in there. So that is also false. The trigger can only occur from pure dot damage, and stacking works. This is the second proof of stacking. If you still don't believe it now, then you're never gonna believe it. So I'm just gonna let it run until the end, and then after that we can jump to the conclusion of this video. Okay, so what's the conclusion of this video? Let's just recap it real quick. So if you can stack a lot of dots on top of each other, you have a great opportunity to do massive AoE explosion damage using X'Fals. What does this mean? So let's just put two examples here. First example, you're a sorceress playing a lightning build. You can add the Firebolt Enchantment and all your lightnings, no matter if it's ball lightning, chain lightning, whatever, will stack a lot of Firebolt dots on top of each other, and every single one can trigger the explosion of X'Fals. Second example would be an imbuement rogue. So if you imbue your weapon with poison or whatever, and then you hit with a very fast attack speed, every single one will stack a new dot, and every dot will then also count for X'Fals. So you can also have a high amount of X'Fals explosion there. What does this furthermore mean? Let's say you are playing a Fireball sorceress. So Fireball does not apply any burning. And like, why would you add Firebolt Enchantment if you're playing a Fireball sorceress? Well, let's just put it like that. If you're firing fireballs at a very high attack speed, you could add the Firebolt Enchantment to AoE, put multiple Firebolt Enchantments on every single enemy, and every single enemy can then proc the X'Fals explosion, and you can see where that goes. So that being said, you have a low amount of dots or long ticking dots, and you cannot stack a lot on top of each other. X'Fals is not for you. You have a high amount of dots, you can stack a lot of dots, or you can apply dots with a very high attack speed. X'Fals will be a great ring for you. Well, that's it. I hope you find this video useful, and I hope you understand the proc chances of lucky hit based on damage over time now. And thank you so much for watching, and I see you guys next time.